Welcome back to Ta-da! 3D printing. Okay, we are on to Chapter 8, Spool Holder Assembly. It says that this is 16 steps and very easy. There are two types of spool holder. Inspect the box your kit came in. If the large portion of the box is occupied by the rectangular black trays, you have the first version, the old vacuum formed spool holders. Let me grab one of those so you can see the difference. Okay, so the previous version for the MMU3 that was for the MK4 that I received a while back had this for the spool holders. And now we have the newer version. So if you have this one, I'm sure I can link that above as well. That's the vacuum formed spool holder, but the newer injection molded ones has additional parts to put together. So this version comes in 5 packages inside a smaller box. If you have this version, skip over. Okay, so on this one we can jump to step 7. Injection molded spool holder parts. Okay, if you already assembled your rectangular formed spool holders, please skip to the next chapter. Okay, so yeah, this chapter is pretty much just split in half. So, step 8, we need to get the spool holder bases. So there should be 4. I guess let's just take these all out. I'll line them up. The spool holder base then this is the spool holder guide. Spool holder wheels. And there's a note here. Wheels shipped after April 2024 are made of POM. We recommend using this version over the earlier models made from ABS. So these do look like they were not 3D printed. 4 of those. In fact, none of this looks like it's been 3D printed. And then the sheet of foam pads. And the last thing is the PTFE holder. So I've got 4 sets of these, 5 sets of these. Where is the other part? I'd have to zoom this back a little bit. The only other thing I'm seeing in here is zip ties. And this is the cord, I think, to flash the firmware. All right, well, we're going to work on one part first, so I'm not going to quite mess with these other ones yet. Take one base part, arrange it as seen in the picture. So we've got the kind of slow swoop up. Insert 2 wheels into the base. Cover with another base part on top. And then step 10 says to push them together until they fully engage. You can hear them click. Verify the base parts hold together properly. Yeah, I don't see any gaps. Repeat for the other side part of the spool holder until you get 2 of these. It looks like they kind of snap and hold together on the ends here. Step 11, foam pads installation. Take the foam pad sheet, bend it in Bend it to separate the individual foam pad strips. There is a bending line inside the inner opening on the bottom of the spool holder side part. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely lines. So we're gonna put 2. So we're gonna kind of break these apart a little bit. See if I can manage to get them off without ripping them in half. Okay. All right, here we go. Finally get one. I didn't get that one very straight, but I think the point is that it needs to be on this flat piece and not this flat piece, and not onto the edges. Okay. Attach another 4 foam pad strips onto the marked position on the bottom of the spool holder side part. And then install another 6 foam pad strips onto the other side. Okay, so we've got 2. We're gonna put 2 more here, 2 more here, total of 6 for this, and then we'll do the same thing again here. Okay. Also, my nail polish is color change. When my nails are cold, they'll be kind of a dark purple, and when they're warmer, they'll be pink, or they might be a little bit in between. So you'll be seeing lots of variations of that, I'm sure. I'm not getting these very straight, but I think the main point is just that they're not gonna scratch up your surface. I'm not really sure why we have that one there. Or maybe it goes inside something. Okay, that one's done. Now we can do this one. It looks like I still have 2 left. Step 13, take the spool holder guide part, hook the end of, oh, I need to find that, PTFE holder onto the guide. All right, it was in the MMU fastener plastic parts. There is one more bag, spool holder PTFE holder. Why those are in separate bags, I don't know. Maybe because these are 3D printed. So we're going to take the spool holder guide, hook the end of the PTFE holder onto the guide, which is this. Make sure the longer part of the PTFE holder is located at the narrower side of the guide part. And push the holder down into the guide until it fully engages and locks in place. All right. So we're looking for the narrower side, which means this one. And then we're taking this and with the screw hole pointing to the right, you're gonna hook this. Start on the left. Hook this. So it has this hooks here, but start with your hooks on this side. All right, sounds good. And then slide the side parts, this is step 14. Slide the side parts onto the guide part. Repeat the same steps for the remaining ones. All right. These look interchangeable to me. I'm assuming that we're gonna go for trying to put them centered here, but if you have larger spools, you can, of course, make them move out a little bit. Which I will say sounds like a good setup. We'll see. So that's one completely done. Now let's go through the other ones. Okay, there's all 5 of them. Okay, now we're on to step 15, joining the spool holder guides. There are protrusions on each side of the guide part. Using these protrusions, the guide parts can be joined together. To join them together, simply tilt in the guide parts on one into the other until the protrusions click in. Or if you flip the guides around, they can be joined in an arc pattern. This is handy to form an arc of spool holders around the buffer so that each filament path is as straight as possible. So, it sounds like you can either do this to make a straight path, or you can do this to make a slow arc. Let's make them straight. We'll find out later what's the easiest setup. Okay, yes, there are protrusions on both sides, but all right, there we go. Wowzers. Okay, so even though you might be using smaller size spools, it's still going to take up the same amount of space. Okay. Step 16. So that's the end of putting the spool holders together. They look great. You'll have a few extra foam pads, so clearly if you messed up a little bit here and there, it's not a big deal. I am wondering though, just now, if that matters, that these are going the opposite way. Yeah, we'll just see on the next one. We'll just see when we get it set up. So the next step is so we went from the easiest step to now the hardest step. So the next one is going to be modding the neck extruder so that the MMU3 can fit onto the printer. And this is where we will really split ways from the MK3 to the MK4 because they're going to be completely different setups. So make sure that you click the correct one. There's 3 options: MK4 neck extruder mod, MK3S plus extruder mod kit, and then the MK3S extruder upgrade. So if you're upgrading from a previous version. Wowzers. See you on the next chapter. Thanks for watching.